We usually think of plants as silent, passive life forms, rooted to the ground, unaware of the world around them. But what if plants are smarter than we think? What if they can count, learn from experience, and even remember? This is the story of the Mimosa pudica, also known as the sensitive plant, a species that challenges what we believe about intelligence and consciousness itself. At first glance, Mimosa pudica looks like any other green plant. Delicate fern-like leaves, small purple flowers, and thin stems. But when you touch it, something astonishing happens. The leaves instantly fold inward, as if the plant is recoiling in fear. It's a reflex so fast it almost feels like an animal's response. In some regions, locals call it the shy plant, or touch me not. This movement isn't magic. It is caused by a rapid loss of water pressure in specialized cells at the base of the leaves, which act like tiny hydraulic systems. When triggered, they collapse, making the leaflets fold. But here and where things get strange. Scientists have found that Mimosa pudica doesn't just react, it learns. In 2014, a team of scientists led by Dr. Monica Galliano at the University of Western Australia conducted a groundbreaking experiment. They dropped Mimosa pudica plants from a short height, just enough to make them fold their leaves, but not enough to harm them. The idea was simple. Could the plant learn that the drop wasn't dangerous? At first, every drop caused the same reaction. The leaves snapped shut. But after a few repetitions, something changed. The plants stopped reacting. They had learned that the stimulus wasn't a threat. Even more amazing, weeks later, when the experiment was repeated, the plants still remembered. They didn't fold. No nervous system, no brain. Yet the plants showed signs of learning and memory, behaviors we once thought belonged only to animals. If intelligence means the ability to process information, adapt, and respond, then plants qualify. They detect light, temperature, gravity, sound, touch, and even chemical signals from other plants. Their roots grow toward nutrients and away from toxins. Their leaves adjust to maximize sunlight. Some can recognize their own kin and behave differently around them. The more we look, the more plants seem like silent thinkers, communicating through chemistry and electrical signals instead of neurons and words. In fact, scientists have discovered that plants send electrical impulses between their cells, almost like miniature nerve signals. They use these to trigger defenses, send warnings, and coordinate growth. Some researchers even call this network the plant nervous system. How does Mimosa pudica remember? No one knows for sure. But it is possible that its cells store information through biochemical changes, similar to how neurons store memories in animals. When the plant learns that a falling motion isn't dangerous, something inside it changes. The next time the same thing happens, it recalls the previous experience and decides not to react. It's not consciousness as we know it, but it's something close, a primitive form of learning that challenges our definition of intelligence. The Mimosa pudica isn't the only plant showing signs of awareness. Across forests and grasslands, plants are constantly talking to each other, not through sound, but through roots and fungi. Underground lies a vast network called the mycorrhizal network, a symbiotic web of fungi that connects plant roots. Through it, plants share nutrients, send distress signals, and even warn neighbors of predators or disease. When one tree is attacked by insects, it releases chemical alerts through this fungal internet. Neighboring trees hear the signal and begin producing defense compounds, like bitter-tasting chemicals or toxins, before they re-attacked. Scientists call this the wood wide web. It's not conscious cooperation, but it's communication, coordination, and information sharing on a scale that rivals animal societies. Some plants can even count. For example, the Venus flytrap doesn't snap shut the first time it's touched. Instead, it waits for 2 touches within 20 seconds before closing. Why? Because the first touch might just be rain or debris. The second confirms that it's prey. That's logic. And it doesn't stop there. If the trap catches an insect, it counts up to 5 touches to measure the size of the prey and how many digestive enzymes it needs to release. This tiny plant isn't just reacting, it's making decisions based on sensory input and internal timing, a kind of biological math. So if plants can learn, remember, communicate, and count, what does that say about intelligence itself? Maybe intelligence isn't about having a brain. Maybe it's about how information is processed wherever it happens, whether through neurons, roots, or electrical impulses in leaves. When we walk through a forest, we see stillness. But under the surface, there's movement, exchange, and thought, just slower than ours. Every rustle of a leaf, every twist of a vine, every response to sunlight, they're signs of awareness written in green. Understanding plant intelligence could reshape fields from agriculture to artificial intelligence. If plants can store and process information without a brain, maybe machines could do the same, using distributed networked systems instead of a central processor. It also challenges our ethics. If plants can experience a form of awareness, should we rethink how we treat them? It's a question philosophers and biologists are only beginning to explore. We've always seen plants as the background of life, scenery for the real action, but maybe they're part of the story in ways we never noticed. Next time you walk past a field or brush your hand against a leaf, remember this: the living world is paying attention. The trees that sway in the wind, the flowers that open to the sun, and the vines that creep along walls, they're sensing, reacting, remembering. The Mimosa pudica doesn't have eyes, ears, or a brain, yet it learns from experience and remembers for weeks. And that means something profound. Intelligence isn't just in animals, it's in life itself.